Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who is back in Osgiliath, because it is time to complete North Ithilien and move on to the plains of Dagorlad, which means apparently going back and redoing all of Northern Ithilien again in the company of an herbalist, apparently. So here we are, or here Gryfflet is anyway. And he is ready to look at all the different locations to run to in order to complete this quest. And I noticed that now the Assisting the Herbalist quest, which is officially dead to me, now says that I've done 2 out of 4, when I had only done 1 out of 4. I have no idea what it is or how it keeps track, but in any case, no problem. This will be a little farewell tour of North Ithilien, and then we'll be all ready to start up in Dagorlad. So first we have to go to the Houses of Healing here in Osgiliath, which I'm pretty sure I can remember how to find, more or less. Off to the left up here and not too far away, as I recall. But of course, this is all in the interest of helping Aragorn, helping Ioreth to help Aragorn and be his representative in the Houses of Healing. The idea that Aragorn has sort of quasi-deputized Ioreth in order to rein in the, well, not abuses so much as to counteract the incompetence of the learned lore master. It's those, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So here we are, and it just says survey the Houses of Healing. Okay, hang on. I should probably get what's-her-face. Oh, yeah, here we are. Milgamel. I'm going to confer. We're conferring. After all these years, some of the beds are still made. Sadly, any herbs that were once housed here have long wilted. Oh, that's true. There are made beds. So you're complimentary to the housekeeping staff, huh? All right. Okay, who's next? The way to Imlad Morgul, I believe, is next. And I think that if I get on my horse, you're going to defy the example of Tom Bombadil and try to trot beside me. Just like Tom Bombadil says that he won't do. Nope, you go away. Okay. Didn't she do that last time? I noted that she stuck around. Anyway, whatever. It's okay. We will head out to Imlad Morgul and see what we can find out there. Good job, guys, but shouldn't y'all be marching on the Black Gate? Oh, that's right. You have already marched on the Black Gate. I'm going backwards in time as well as space. No problem. As I've said many times before, I quite enjoy time traveling in the Lord of the Rings plot line. Well, less so when it means going back to having the statue of the king not have the head I so painstakingly put on it. But, you know. You win some, you lose some, I guess. Okay, how far do I have to go? Just down the road, huh? Oh, wait. This is the road in question, yeah. All right. This way to Morgul Vale and certain death. That's good. Okay, if she's not going to be with me anyway, and now that I'm on the main road and not wending my way through Osgiliath, let me war steed it here. Let's get Cair on to help me do this a little more swiftly. Because if all I have to do is get to a spot. Okay, right down there where I discovered where I was burning flowers before. Ah, look, some of the very flowers I was burning. Alright. Oh, we good? No, not quite yet. Come this way a little bit. There we go. That's pretty close. Let's confer here. I do not wish to remain long in this place. The plants that grow out from the vale have a sickly scent to them and are likely of no use or worse. Couldn't agree more. All right, so now up to Bâr Aroth. We're going to survey the whole thing. Bâr Aroth, Aelin Veren. Oh, and then Cair Andros. That's right. We're gonna have to interrupt this one in order to. We're gonna have to go with the faint-hearted to Cair Andros. We're gonna try to finish Cair Andros and the Herbalist quests, and then be entirely ready to focus 100% of our energy and attention on the quests on the plains of Daggerlad. Okay. So we stop at the first ruin on the left. No problems. Hang on a second. Let me queue up a lore question here. Okay. Kendall was asking, when Tolkien says that trolls are made in mockery of Ents, how does that compare to when he says orcs were made in mockery of elves? I know he never made up his mind on the origin of orcs, but does this mean that trolls are just constructs filled with the Dark Lord's malice and hate, like orcs early on? Really good question. So let me just unpack that a little bit, Kendall, for the benefit of people less familiar with you than you are with the history of the orc question. Really briefly, when Tolkien invented orcs, way back in the Book of Lost Tales, they were explicitly constructs. They were made out of stone and mud and hatred. They were activated with the hatred and malice of Morgoth. They were murder bots. They weren't living beings. No evidence that they procreated or had any independent existence. Well, they could act independently. Again, the problem was, as is true of so many things from Tolkien's early stories, he wasn't really... I missed the turnoff, which I didn't see at all. He wasn't doing consistent world building. As I've said before several times in this, in my discussions here in the Gryfflet stream, Tolkien came late to the idea of world building. That was not how he started. And so a lot of his early stuff doesn't hold together especially well from a world building standpoint. Do we have to go all the way in? Can we just get right up to the walls now? There we go. If we can sneak in and out of here without fighting, that would be awesome. Even with the orcs present, there is still a bountiful garden here. I shall gather some of the buckthorn and vetchling for Master Galathir. Totally gather the buckthorn. Buckthorn is awesome. Sorry, I'm thinking, of course, of rabbits. All right, up to Aelin Veren. Your next ruin on the left. Okay, anyway, so orcs, originally, totally constructs. Then Tolkien decides that that doesn't work. That evil can't create new creatures. The whole situation with Aule and the dwarves, and the distinction that Iluvatar makes, saying that Iluvatar's explanation to Aule articulates very fully Tolkien's later thinking. He wrote that story after he wrote The Lord of the Rings, the story of Aule and the dwarves. And so Iluvatar's explanation to Aule that since they are only an extension of he has only his own being. He can't give being to new creatures. And so therefore the dwarves, the creatures of his making, will act in things while his mind is on them. But only while his mind is on them. And when his mind is on other things, they will stand idle. Right. Is that what he wanted? And, Aule's like, actually, no, that really wasn't what I wanted at all. That kind of was what Morgoth wanted, actually. He wanted that kind of complete dominion, and the implication is that Morgoth does, in fact, disperse his thought and his will among his creatures so that he can keep them all activated. And you may remember that there is still at least a memory of this with Sauron at the end of The Lord of the Rings. Remember how in that wonderful paragraph, right when Frodo is standing at the cracks of doom, we are told that at the Black Gate, this tremor goes through the Sauron's armies, and his commanders suddenly steerless, bereft of will. Right? They stand there and they're like, where am I? What am I doing? Right? That's a kind of memory of this same sort of phenomenon that Sauron was meant to be doing too. Now it's not exactly the same. It's not the sort of the full version of that. As I say, it's mostly a sort of memory of that. Okay. How far in do we have to get? Oh, look. Oh. Okay. No problem. I'm having all kinds of problems, actually. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else. Let me continue what I was saying. So, here we are. Gryfflet gets distracted by treasure. During the course of writing The Lord of the Rings, yes, orcs were originally essentially golems. Yes, that is perfectly fair to say. Tolkien had a kind of crisis about this later on in his writing career. Indeed, it seems to have happened during the writing of The Lord of the Rings. Indeed, I am pretty well convinced that it took place exactly during the conversation between Frodo and Sam when there we go. No, still not here yet? What are you looking for? Down here? Will you follow me down here? Okay. I see you coming. No. Seriously, we're in the middle of the hotspot on the map. No, I'll just keep wandering around. In the conversation Frodo and Sam have in the stairs of Cirith Ungol, when Frodo talks about how orcs must eat and drink, and that they can't just live on foul air and poison, as Sam rather suspects might be the case. Might be possible. And Frodo's like, no, that can't happen. So during the writing of the Lord of the Rings, Tolkien has this sort of crisis, right? World building crisis about the nature of orcs. Now, the later stuff, and this is where one of the things that is so complicated about the Silmarillion and its history is the fact that readers, Tolkien readers, Lord of the Rings fans, go to the Silmarillion, and when they go to the Silmarillion, they they believe that what they're finding there is the ancient history. You know, this is the original stuff. This is where all of the questions about, you know, the backstory of the world of the Lord of the Rings are answered, right? This is where it all comes from. Where on earth? Oh, I have to get in the river? Let's try the other side of the river here. You're awfully picky on this one. There were herbs all over the place where we were, but not triggering you, huh? This bank, maybe this bank is where you like? Anyway, the point that I'm making is that when Lord of the Rings readers go to the Silmarillion, they assume that what they're getting everywhere, that like everything they get from the Silmarillion is older than the Lord of the Rings, right? This is what lies behind the Lord of the Rings. But it isn't true. At least it's certainly not universally true. Aha! This is where you wanted to go. Ah, the old baths have such beauty, even in disrepair. But look, a sprig of belladales and wild larkspur on the banks of the river. I know, right? So exciting. All right, now it's just Cair Andros for you, huh? So let's go. Let's go speak with Damrod about the faint-hearted. First, I'm going to mount up and make you disappear, Milgamel. No offense. I'll call you back when it's time to look in Cair Andros, but I have to, you know, kind of cleanse it first. Then I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to speak to Damrod. Okay, but anyway, as I said, the problem is when you go to the Silmarillion, you are getting stuff which within the world, like within the fictional world. Oh well. I really, can I make her go away? Pet menu, dismiss. Great. In world, everything in the Silmarillion, it predates the Lord of the Rings, except the very end of the Rings of Power in the Third Age. But chronologically, it's not the case. Some of the things in the Silmarillion were written way before the Lord of the Rings, and so in that way, they were like the inspiration for. They were things that Tolkien had in mind when he came to the Lord of the Rings. Many of those things, though, were written after the Lord of the Rings and are things that are in turn actually inspired by the Lord of the Rings. So it's way more complicated than most people think. So the orc thing is a classic example. That passage in the Silmarillion where the Silmarillion says that the orcs were derived from elves is a later passage. That's not that passage. You can't read the Lord of the Rings, go back to that passage and say, oh, that's what was in Tolkien's mind when he wrote the Lord of the Rings. It absolutely was not. That passage is written after the Lord of the Rings. It's inspired by the Lord of the Rings, not the other way around. The original orcs were golems, basically murder bots, right? Created by Morgoth. Later on, he decided that wasn't going to be the case, and that's where he gets things all confused and can't figure out a good way to have orcs be what they have been in his story without having to go back and rewrite everything, including the Lord of the Rings. but yet also kind of make it make sense philosophically and theologically, and that's what he never completed. That's what he never fully figured out. And the elf theory is just one of several. It wasn't even Tolkien's favorite one. Certainly wasn't his later idea. It was one of his initial ideas, which he dismissed, but he didn't decide on any others. So Christopher went with it and included it in the published Silmarillion. But Kendall, this all comes back to your question about how does it compare when Tolkien has Treebeard say that trolls were made in mockery of Ents as orcs were of elves. How does that, how do we understand that? How does that kind of fit into this whole narrative, right? Let me talk to Damrod, and we'll get back at it.
We need your help if we are to fight the enemy.
Did you pass through Cormallen as the rest of us did? The beauty of the area certainly renewed the spirits in these faint-hearted men. Yeah, where am I? Oh, I'm way down here. Great. Yeah. Well, yeah, I did a bunch. I planted seeds in Cormallen. Yeah, absolutely. We are close to Cair Andros now. Would you mind scouting the entrance to see what these men are up against? Report back to Duinhir, for I must return northeast. I hope that we shall see each other again soon. Good luck. Okay. Me, Duinhir, and the army of the faint-hearted. And now we're going to head into Cair Andros, right? That other quest ring is for the herbs. All right, let's do it. The faint-hearted. So, in my mind, the complicated question, what was in Tolkien's head when he wrote that saying of Treebeard? When Treebeard said, trolls were made in mockery of Ents, what was in his head? The old orc version? When he compared it to orcs, was he comparing it to the old orcs or the new orcs? And I think that that's the essence of Kendall's question, if I'm understanding it properly. Does this mean that trolls are just constructs filled with the Dark Lord's malice and hate like orcs early on, right? Or is he paralleling the relationship between orcs and elves that gets articulated in the published Silmarillion? Okay, hang on. So it's just up here. Is this Duinhir and is this like the camp of the faint-hearted up here? Caladuil. All right, Duinhir. The entrance is heavily guarded. I suppose we shall need to be as stealthy as we can before a full-on assault is possible. Duinhir shows renewed strength in his role as leader of these men. Excellent. Woohoo! Here we go. Let's do the thing. How can I help, Duinhir? We know little of the captain, whom the enemy has appointed to command in Cair Andros. What nature of man or orc or where he makes camp upon the island, save his name, which is Molvagur, and that his defeat would surely throw off the line of command. Damrod has espied not only orcs in Cair Andros, but Haradrim and Suhalar as well. With no head to unify them, there would be very little to keep them from fighting amongst themselves. Okay, I can do that. Before Damrod left, he spoke to me about Cair Andros. As you may know, it was forcefully taken before the Battle of Pelennor. Some of the Gondorians who dwelled there who were not slain may be held captive. Damrod believes this to be true. While he was patrolling close to the fortress, he heard the crying of a child. We must find anyone still alive in Cair Andros and free them. Okay. Defeat Mauschlach is he's not a captive. Well, okay. Well, I'll figure it out. I'm sure it'll make sense. Okay, the island walls. Stealth may be our only option at the moment. The gate is barred and heavily guarded. And did you see the archers who patrol the walls? Luck would have it that the orcish assault which invaded Cair Andros also left gaps in the walls which guard the island. We must sneak around the entrance, enter the fortress, and defeat the archers who patrol patrol the walls. Okay. Defeat orc scouts. I am betting the enemy have a stockpile of weapons in the city. If we were to recapture Cair Andros for Gondor, we must deplete their weapon caches. Okay, destroy weapon racks. Okay, weapon racks, orc scouts, some dude named Mushalak, and some dude named Molvagur. Alright, no problem. Okay, so back to the Treebeard, Troll, and Orc question. I believe that when Tolkien wrote the Treebeard chapter. Are you an Orc scout? No, you're a Mordor raider. I'm not interested in you. And you're a Suhoar thrower. Yeah, I don't need the Grip of Mordor quest again, though I might as well get it, because I'm going to end up filling it again anyway. But let me go find my orc archers. Where are they? Oh, okay, so the blue circle is my herb quest. Gotcha. Okay, orc scouts specifically I'm looking for. Orc scouts. Gonna be up on the walls? Should I find the gaps in the walls that Duinhir was talking about? Oh, sure. What good is a gap in the wall if I can't get through? Okay, I can get through here. Hello, Cair Andros. I'm looking for scouts. No, not raiders. Not sorcerers. No. Where are the scouts? Okay, I see a weapons rack. That's something, I guess. Are you a scout? No, you're a raider. Are there any orc scouts? Okay, a Mordor warrior, yes, I guess. And then nice. I might as well just take this quest and then it'll get rid of the rings above the unnecessary people. Huh, this is very puzzling. You know, I don't like the fact that, oh, these guys are level 105. Well, yeah, but I'm 109. Come on, Gryfflet, what's wrong with your stealth? You should be able to stay hidden from these people. Yeah, great. Let's see what's over here. Let's see what we can find. Hang on, I'll come back to the orc control question in a moment. I'm too busy searching here. We got some captives over here or something? No? Let's see. What's that quest ring about? Oh, gotta go all the way around? Can't get through there? I see there's a weapon rack over there. Is that it? Okay, well, making progress on weapon racks, but that's really it. I can't get in there. Both spotted me? That is shameful. Shameful. All right. What else do we have? Looks like maybe this is the... I'm hoping that the white rings on the map might be one of the bosses or something. Oh, a little wooden chest. Don't mind if I do. I love how you can open it while you're standing on top of it. Oh, it did kick me out. Weapon racks over here. Yeah, that couldn't be helped. Mordor black arrows. Tam Falthat, I can get in there. That looks like a place I need to go. Oh, come on now. A defiler, huh? Let's see, what's inside here? More raiders. I don't believe that there are any Orc scouts. I really am not convinced that they exist. But there's Mulvigur. I was figuring the boss dude would be in here. He snarls at me, all while simultaneously not noticing my existence. He sounds the alarms, huh? But he was stunned. How could he sound the alarms? Let's get out of here before you regen. Nothing else in here like weapons racks or anything. Oh, come on. Of all the annoying things. Okay. Okay. Yeah, nothing through there. Okay. It's gonna unstealth me when I get out, isn't it? I suspect. Yep. Yeah. Black arrows. Oh, these guys are so annoying. Targeting. Seriously, I was targeting the guy on the other side of the courtyard. Yikes. Okay. Alright, so probably gonna complete the Grip of Mordor again before I complete anything else here. Alright, so I found him. I haven't found the captives guy. Sorry, I am gonna come back to my orc discussion. I just wanted to. Oh yeah, it must be this one. Can I get through that door? Yes. Kirgalar. Okay. There he is, Mauschlak. This filth here is my bargaining chip for power in this place. Okay. Oh, look. I just got past you. Tougher than the main boss here, dude. We should be running this place. I agree with you. Well, this didn't work out as I planned. Okay. Hey there, captives. Now, how do I need what? There's my 4 captives all in one spot. Hello, Gondorian peasant. My family and I were kidnapped from Crithost. Really? If they were going to eat us, you'd think they'd give us some food. True. They're going to eat us, and they didn't even bother to fatten us up. How rude. No problem. My only reward is that justice has been done. Yeah, tell Tolwin I said hi. Okay. That's good. Now I just need the last 4 weapon racks, and then... Whoa. A false door. Oh, good. They both ran over to me. That's an improvement. I still got somebody shooting me. That's annoying. Well, it is what it is. This is why I put Gryfflet all the way up to 109. Yeah, but I don't want this guy shooting at me, so... And a defiler. At least he wasn't healing everybody. Don't you kill me, dude. I said not to. Hate those black arrows. Why do you think I play a burglar? So I can stealth and avoid all this inconvenience. What deed did I get? Oh, foe slayers and Cair Andros. There's a whole... Kill 100 foes just here? Yikes. Okay, tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go straight up onto the walls. Because he said, see the archers on the walls. Oh, come on. No. No, you don't count. I think you're one of the dudes who's just killing me, so... Yay! I found him! Now I have to loot his corpse? Why is he glowing now? I can't do anything to him. That's super weird. So they're glowing, but I can't interact with them at all? That's unprecedented. I can't explain that at all. Is it to keep them from regenning? So that you kill the scouts and the scouts stay dead? Maybe. Okay, well. Hey. Oh, there he's back. I was going to say, the Black Arrow's corpse is still there too. That's strange. Looks like I can't go along the walls for very long now, so I'm going to have to find other entrances up onto the walls. Okay, so now it's just weapon racks, and then finding some more spies. or scouts, rather. Okay. Oops, hit the wrong button. See, I am going to complete Grip of Mordor again. There's another one right there, isn't there? Yeah, I got 3 of them up here. Man, they've got good... Either my stealth has gotten suddenly bad, or they're pretty good at spotting. Any upstairs? I'm surprised he's not having me destroy the catapults. Okay. Making serious progress now. Here comes my penultimate scout. Okay. Excellent. There never seem to be any upstairs. Nah. No. Thought I saw something there for a second, but... Okay. One more scout then. Then I can focus on returning to the Orc control question. Because it is leading up to what I think is... I know I've talked about this question a bunch of times, so regulars are like, oh, he's talking about the Orc question again. But it's leading up to something I haven't said before or even really thought before. That's why I really appreciate Kendall's question, because it really suggests a new angle on the question for me. The troll thing, in particular, in Treebeard's talk. I guess I could maybe hunt for scouts and do that at the same time. Okay. Here's my thinking. I suspect that Tolkien was thinking in the pattern of the old orcs when he said what he said about trolls. And I say this for 2 reasons. 3 reasons I say this. First, if you try to take the orcs are corrupted elves concept, the one that's in the published Silmarillion, and apply it back to Ents and trolls, it doesn't work. So if what Treebeard meant was the relationship between trolls and orcs is the same as the relationship between trolls and Ents is the same as the relationship between elves and orcs as articulated in the published Silmarillion. Like if that's if we theorize for a moment that that's what Treebeard meant, that seems almost impossible. Because that would mean that, like, well, I say almost impossible, not impossible, but it would mean that Ents were taken and tortured and corrupted personally until they were, like, twisted into becoming trolls. And it's interesting, of course, that to some extent that's almost exactly what Lotro has depicted in the wood trolls, right? But I think that Treebeard's words there, it's very hard for me to hear Treebeard's description as being consistent with that concept. Okay, I can advance the weapon rack quest from here, but not the other two. Okay, no problem. All right, so now I'm just needing the scout. Which, oh yeah, they're trying to convince me that the scouts are everywhere on this. Yeah, they're nowhere, or rather, they're only up on the walls. Let me try to find a way up onto. And they're on these walls on the side, but I think not up here. Oh man. Found out again. Oh, sure. Now, would everybody just calm down? Let me go to stealth, find my last scout, and get the heck out of here. Okay. There must be a way up onto the walls. Somewhere down here. One scout, come on. One scout. And why does the map suggest they're all over the place when they're in such very narrow ranged, spots? Ha! I bet you there's a scout up here. I think I found them. Yes. Boom. Done. Yes. Cair Andros finished. Oh, of course. Got a superfluous scout. All right. All that's left is my herbalism task. Yep, I won't forget, Phil. Thank you for reminding me. Now that I finished those, I just go back to... It was like right by the entrance, wasn't it? I'm going in the wrong way, right? Yep, okay. Back up this way. Oh, that guy had second thoughts? Okay. So, this is not the exit. Man, would you... My stealth has been just useless today. Been failing me when I needed it most. Okay, Defiler, you're gonna have to come down here to fight me, because I'm not fighting you up there. Okay, that'll do. Alright, how do I get out of this crazy place? Alright, anyway, what I was saying was... Oh, wait, do I have to go inside here? Let's just summon you and see what will make you happy. Hey, look, here we are. Are you gonna make me... You're gonna make me fight these guys, aren't you? Yeah, well, at least you can tank them. Oh, this is the main gate I couldn't use? There you go. Would you just tank that one for me? Appreciate it. Okay, Milgamel. What's going to make you happy? What's going to make you happy is on the other side of this gate, right? Apparently. Okay. So we came in over this way, through a gap in the wall, that it would eventually let me go through. Or maybe I could go up and around. I should have just jumped off the wall while I had the chance. Alright, come back to me, Milgamel. We're almost done. We're almost at the end of North Ithilien. Okay, you insist on being like right in the guarded entrance. Oh, good. Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's confer, by all means. I should say this is near enough. I will apologize to Mr. Galathir and Lady Yorth if I must, but such a place is far too dangerous for me. Yes, you are so correct. Escort her to Henneth Annûn. Okay, fine. Actually, never mind. Let's just jump. It's a small jump, but still. Okay. The alarm sounded from here. I am glad you made it out of Cair Andros, but the element of surprise is no longer at our advantage. Yeah, well. I'm glad you have found 4 captives and brought them to safety. No problem. Alright, what do we got now? While we no longer have the element of surprise, I believe that the damage you already caused to their defenses and to their chain of command is more than sufficient. Let us take the city now! Ooh, get a little, Cair Andros instance? Excellent. Come, we charge! Let no orc live! This is our day to protect our land and undo any shame we have bestowed upon ourselves or our families.
The faint-hearted that I have dismissed now wish to quell their shame by retaking the island fortress of Cair Andros for Gondor.
Yeah, you ready, guys? Let's go. Do I just go? You waiting for me? There we go. Come on, Duinhir. It's nice of them to leave the doors open. To battle! Oh, they're already in here, huh? Okay. Excellent. Good job doing here. Right, big battle going on down there. You want these guys. Alright, I'll let them focus on you, and then whammo. Okay. No problem. You're doing swell, Duinhir. Your guy just ran the wrong way, but it happens. He'll figure it out. That's it. Reclaim the island fortress. Where's that other guy going? Oh yeah, there's a defiler here. These guys can be nasty. Yeah, Duinhir, you don't want to get into a firefight with these guys. Where'd you go? All right. Okay. We must hold this part of the island, huh? I still just love. It was such a great choice. Duinhir, I mean. You know, they of course, I mean, they obviously took this storyline straight from the book, which is great. Where'd he go? Oh, way up there. And they had to choose. I mean, it makes sense that they would choose a captain. Duinhir is such a beautiful choice. Where'd you go? Down this way, huh? Up one side of the island and down the other. Oh, we haven't fought a real boss yet. I've got to be getting there, though. Whoa. thought Duinhir was down there for a second, but he was just stunned. What are we shooting at? Oh, come on. Make me chase you around. That war leader was pretty bad news. Oh, is that a black arrow? Okay, Duinhir. Yeah, Phil, Duinhir totally did phase through that wall. Oh man, I lost the other two dudes. And he's making me chase after all of his archers. Oh, did you shoot him down? Well, that makes one. The fighting intensifies, huh? Whoa. Where's Duinhir? We will stand our ground. Okay. Are they going to attack us one at a time? Two at a time. Maybe three. That guy. Okay, who's next? You, huh? And you. Okay, Duinhir so far is doing better than I am on a health front. I gotta like really focus here. Hey look, backup. That's nice. Who are you? Duneth? From Crithost! Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. Yeah. That's right, Tolwin. You got my message, huh? Oh, that is awesome. Let's do this, Tolwin. Look at you, got the locals against you now. Yeah, these are totally friends of mine. This was once our home. I am glad to fight with you and help you retake your home. That is so cool. We have yet to secure the prow. We must not spare another moment lest our foes regroup. Okay. Maybe we could spare a few moments while my healing skill continues to cool down. Oh, that guy was a boss. Let the kid tank. Okay. Quasi-boss number 2. Man, I've completed Foe Slayer of Cair Andros. Like, by accident. Apparently it's hard to... I think Tolwin knows where he's going. It's hard not to complete that deed. I was actively trying not to complete that deed. Where's Duinhir? Oh, there he is. Alright, you're fighting the boss over here. Okay, we still going up to the prow? Yes, we are. Alright, we're almost there now. Well, don't forget that Gondorian cities are very likely to have a prow. Because, I mean, it's also a stylistic choice. You have come far enough, filth. Remove yourself or I will use force. That's right. There is nothing to discuss. Your deaths will be swift. Let's put an end to these fools. I know whom to get rid of first. Okay. Oh man, you have no hope. You're fighting Tolwin and his mom. You've got nothing. What do you say, Tolwin? Gryfflet, it is good to see you again. You kept your word like you said you would. You vowed to help retake my home for my family. I have trained and waited for this day ever since you departed Crithost. Now let us reclaim the rest of Cair Andros. We already did, dude. I knew in my heart that I would see you again. I knew it was you when I saw the smoke of battle rising from off the island. We rushed over as quickly as we could muster. I wanted to be there on the day that Cair Andros once again belonged to Gondor. I want to help restore the home of my dearly departed husband, Gilgir. Mother, we have really taken on... We have really retaken our home. Yes, Tolwin, and I am proud of your courage and your bravery. If only my father and brothers were here to see this moment. The source of the Anduin is very far from here. Father, where does the Anduin come from? It flows beside many shores, past the varied cultures of these lands. Even now, that life and knowledge is carried in the current. The water sees much as it travels. It leads to a new journey upon ocean waves. Even when we are gone, the Anduin will flow just as it does now. I love quests with memory ghosts. Anyway, Gondorian cities not always, but I mean, they tend towards prows because they're ship people. I mean, they're the ship kings. They're the kings who came up out of the sea. So when, like, the places round about here, I mean, remember how, you know, maritime, like Annûn is, right? Same deal. They're ship people. It's how they think. So they orient the cities like the city should have a prow, like where it's facing, where the front of the city looks out on the world, and that they would liken that to the prow of a ship. Of course, makes all kinds of sense. And obviously, in an island like Cair Andros, it's sort of shaped like a ship, and it's in the middle of the water, and so the prow that points upstream, as with the water breaking around it like it would at sea, of course they're going to think of that as the prow. But again, it's mostly, I would say, a cultural thing. I see your friend Duneth and the boy Tolwin. You have done much to improve their lives as they face devastating hardship. I too should thank you for lifting my own shadow. I was wholly overcome with sorrow for the loss of my sons. I could not see my hands held out before me. What folly! Instead of honoring their sacrifice, I tarnished my name and theirs. I am not fool enough to think that Cair Andros will undo my mistakes. No, my friend, I shall need to take charge in the future. I shall make sure that those from Harad will pay for the crimes against Gondor and against my family. What do you mean by taking charge? There's much to do. Oh dear. Another round of quests, you mean? Okay. Let's see if he's got another round of quests. If not, we're done, which is good because we're about out of time. This island of treacherous orcs and evil men beyond all hope is no more. Now it is restored as a fortress of Gondor and shining beacon of Talith Anor. We could not have done this with such haste were it not for your assistance. I understand if you are to leave now. You are braver than I to stand at the gates of Mordor and face the armies of those eternally damned lands. Please inform Aragorn that we shall remain here guarding Cair Andros. Excellent. Okay. Then what I'm going to do is hustle to Henneth Annûn. I want to see if I can... I hate it when it won't let me get through an obvious gap in the walls. Let me see if I can get through to Henneth Annûn quick. Druid's Fire, do you mind if I go over by just a couple minutes to see if I could just finish this? If I can finish this up and be back to Daggerlad, then I'll be truly done. And I think I'm just about done. All right. Thank you. All right. I'm just going to go overland to Henneth Annûn. So let me talk about trolls. I said that there were 3 reasons why I believe that when Treebeard says that trolls were made in mockery of Ents like orcs of elves, he does not mean, he's not, Tolkien when he wrote that was not thinking of the Silmarillion version of that with the elves. One is, again, I think that if Treebeard had in mind that Ents were captured and tortured and twisted and made into evil beings, I think he would have expressed a little bit more grief there. He says that trolls were made. It's the verb made. It's like emotionally neutral. You know what I mean? Again, I would think that Treebeard would have a lot more to say if these were about the sadness of Ents being taken and twisted into becoming trolls. So that's one reason why I do not believe that that is what Treebeard means. The second reason that I do not believe that that is what Treebeard means is that what was the second reason? Oh, yeah, the second reason is the use of the word mockery. Made in mockery, specifically that phrase, right? Made in mockery. That phrase, again, he explicitly parallels it with orcs and elves, right? But that phrase does not parallel the later passage, the one that's in the published Silmarillion about elves being corrupted. Made in mockery, specifically, is the exact phrase that's used of the old orcs. When in the Book of Lost Tales, it is described, you know, that there's the description of Morgoth making the orcs. He made them in mockery of elves is exactly how it's put. So the specific, not only does the specific phrasing that Treebeard uses there not suggest to me the grief that I would expect him to be expressing if it were actually oh, she had her quest arrow and then lost it. Let's confer. Hang on. Not in all my days have I seen such gorgeous lands. I have heard much of Ithilien, but the tales all fall short in conveying its true beauty. I am proud to report that I have identified many of the herbs Master Galathyr seeks, but I could not help but take note of the many, many strange plants I had never before set eyes upon. Some stirred memories of drawings I had seen in musty tomes within the old archives, and I cannot help but wonder what powers some of these might possess. But I can see Master Galathyr frowning down at these foolish thoughts of mine. I hope the rangers do not mind my brief company in their cave. I don't mean to disparage their choice of refuge, but it is a cave. Yet I cannot deny there's a homely warmth to it. Perhaps I'll take a few notes about Henneth Annûn for my own keeping. Oh yeah, why don't you bring back some notes about the secret fortress? They'll love it. The rangers brought back a mangled animal corpse from the wilds. It was struck with an arrow of orcish design. Oh man, you've got an extra quest for me, don't you? The peculiar thing is not the arrow, but the state of the animal's body. The corpse is sickened and in rapid state of decay. The rangers say the ground surrounding the animal was devoid of flora. This is all very concerning. Perhaps it was unwise to pass Cair Andros by after all. The forces from Mordor at Cair Andros must be coating their arrows with something vile, something not seen upon the Pelennor battlefield, or else I would recognize it, and therefore perhaps concocted here in North Ithilien. It is not why Master Galathir sent me, or an inquiry he would approve of, but I must know what this substance is. I shall not accompany you to Cair Andros, as my lack of skill in combat would only slow you down and endanger myself, but I beseech you, go and gather what you can of this poison so we may study it. You're sending me all the way back to Cair Andros to collect viscous poison and vials of refined poison. Milgamel! But if I do this, I bet you that's my fourth quest to assist the herbalists of North Ithilien. And then I will complete that quest that is dead to me. Oh, that's why those corpses stayed flashing? Oh, maybe so. Okay. All right. Fine. Well, Milgamel, fine. Fine. I'm going to save you for next time. So, because I was unfortunately delayed in my start today, I am not going to be able to finish all the quests up here because I still have yet Milgamel's quests to finish. But we're so close. We are so close. A few to tidy up in Cair Andros next time, and then onwards into Dagorlad. We'll be up to Dagorlad in earnest next time. Yep. But this time, so close, but not quite. All right. Right, we were supposed to talk to her before plunging in? Yeah, well, she should have just told me on the spot while we were there, not made me come all the way back to Henneth Annûn. Crying out loud. Anyway, no problem. We'll finish him up next time. Let me just finish up real quick my talk about the trolls, if Druid's Fire doesn't mind. So the one reason was that, again, I can't imagine he wouldn't be more broken up about it. Second, he's using the exact phrase used in the Book of Lost Tales to describe the making of the orcs, made in mockery of. Originally, the orcs were made in mockery of elves. They were manufactured bots who were like vaguely elf-shaped, but made in mockery of elves. Just like trolls are vaguely ent-shaped, made in mockery of ents. So I do think that when he wrote that, for those two reasons, I think that when Tolkien wrote that and gave that line to Treebeard, he still had the old orcs, the old orc golem murder bots in mind. The third reason that I think it is just simply sequencing. The Treebeard chapter in which Treebeard says that emerged all at once. Like the whole chapter was written in almost one continuous draft. With very little revision afterwards. It's one of the chapters in the entirety of The Lord of the Ring that flowed most smoothly and needed least revision from him. And as I said, I believe pretty strongly that it is not until he didn't discover the orc problem, Tolkien didn't, until writing. Until the end, until until Cirith Ungol, in that conversation between Frodo and Sam that I mentioned. So when he wrote the Treebeard chapter, he hadn't gotten there yet, and I think that it is one of several places where I believe we can see direct evidence in the text that he was still thinking of orcs in the old-fashioned way. For much of the, not all, but much of the Lord of the Rings. Yeah, the place where you can really see the new concept of orcs, Tolkien really beginning to press into the orc question, which he never solved, is Shagrat and Gorbag, right? By the time we get there, he's thinking about it differently. But I think back in Treebeard, he's still thinking of it the old way. But thanks for asking that, Kendall, because that is I never really thought that line through in that way, that fully, kind of putting it into the orc picture. But yeah, the more I think about it, I'm very convinced that Trolls Made in Mockery events is really done in that old model, when he's still thinking of trolls as basically these Morgoth automata, which also, if you think about it, makes sense of why trolls originally turned to stone when the light of the sun shines on them, right? Because they're just stone. They just go back to the stone out of which they're made. They're stone that is only animated by Morgoth's will. And so if the sun interferes with that in some way, with their connection to Morgoth's will, they turn into, they turn back into stone. But anyway, okay. Thanks everybody. Appreciate it. I should be back next week, so I look forward to this time. We are absolutely finishing North Ithilien and going into Daggerlad. All right. Thanks everybody. Bye now. The Very Patient Druid's Fire is next. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.